everyone. Now we are going to see a topic about cryptanalysis. What is meant by cryptanalysis? Cryptanalysis is nothing but it is a study of cryptographic system to understand their security and identify weakness. That is known as cryptanalysis. So cryptanalysis is nothing but it's mainly focused on the process of studying and breaking encrypted messages, that is the ciphertext, without knowing the secret key. It's known as cryptanalysis. That is the main goal is for cryptanalysis is to recover the original message, that is plain text, for discover the encryption key, that is cryptanalysis. That means once we are giving a plain text, it will be going to the encryption plus secret key. After that it will be converted into a ciphertext, then it will move to the analysis phase, that is cryptanalysis. The cryptanalysis is mainly focused on the protected information can be recovered without processing of the secret information. So how the importance of evaluating a cryptanalysis is, it's have an encryption algorithm protocol, then adequate protection has been occurred. So it's mainly used for security researchers and cryptographers, because to test the cryptographic keys, so it has a better cryptographic designs. So this will be an cryptographic analysis, that is known as cryptanalysis. So next, what is the difference between cryptography and cryptanalysis? Cryptography is nothing but it will be protecting the information from an unknown person, while cryptanalysis is nothing but it will evaluate the security of the cryptographic method. While cryptography, which has a basics algorithm as encryption algorithm, keys, hashes, and digital signature, and it will be focused mainly on that four basic terminologies: confidentiality, integrity, authentication, and non-repetition. While cryptanalysis is mainly focused on the algorithms and assumption of implementation, it will be discovered for the weakness where under the attack has been attempted. For example, we can analyze the cipher leak useful information. That is the difference between cryptography and cryptanalysis. Then how the basic cryptanalysis model will be work now? It has a ciphertext, then algorithm knowledge, then cryptographic system analysis, how it will observe the security properties, then identify and report the weakness. First in crypt cyber text, what it will be doing now, encrypted data will be available for examination. Then after that it will move to the algorithm knowledge, that is modern securities will have an algorithm how that has publicly known. Then what are all the available information we have now? The analyst must have a ciphertext keys, then some plain text also has been used, that will be focused on encryption decryption interfaces depending on the model. After it move to the observe security properties, here what will do now, the system fully resides the defined attacker capabilities. Then after that finally how we will identify the report and weaknesses, it will be fully focused on the designer strength of algorithm and protocol and implementation, we can able to find out the model. Then what are all the common cryptanalysis attacks? Now we have cipher text only, known plain text, and choose an input model. We have three types of attacks. First one is cipher text only. In this attack only one or more ciphertext can be used, no plain text is directly provided. The main goal of ciphertext is it has a useful information for working and have a limited observation. While known plain text attack is nothing but some plain text and corresponding ciphertext are example of known plain text. That means we have some of the known plain text and ciphertext that will become under known plain text. So chosen input model is nothing but it will be the attacker will mainly focus on the security model, has allow selected input to be processed by an encryption or decryption interface. Next, classical cipher analysis. This has some frequency concept has occurred. Here we have a bar chart diagram. Here some of the languages has been frequently used that has been come under the classical cipher analysis. Then how brute force search will be used in a here. Mainly brute force search is for used for mainly possible keys we will consider until the current result is identified. Brute force search is nothing but how many possible keys has been occurred until we will find out the final result. So how depth the search will be occurred, and based on the size of key space and available computing resource we can able to find out the brute force search. After that, modern cryptographic analysis, we have some of the many modern cryptanalysis has been occurred using mathematical reasoning, probability, and algorithm analysis. So mainly the researcher will focus on a cipher has a structured weakness, whether a protocol use cryptographic primitive or incorrectly, means it may focus on the cipher, how it will be implementing, and what are all the security reviews we have, how it will be responding. First we have an algorithm, protocol, implementation, key management combined together. We have a security evaluation, how the evaluation has been done. Based on that we will see the furthermost topics. Then what are the importance and applications of cryptanalysis is, first, to evolve, first research, next standards, next software, education and engineering. Research is nothing but we want to have a new design to test the product. Then what is meant by standard? Now we have an some of the algorithm, how standard the algorithm will be, that should be evaluated by the team. Then after that, software, find the weakness of the software. Then in education, how the security has been occur, how the security has been understand, how to improve the security based on like web security, communication softwares and digital signatures, all has been used, how the security is working. Then after that, in engineering, the students mainly how the system improves the quality of the education in engineering. Thank you.